Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ramyza Andalus, and I'm going to present the PowerPoint about social denial reflected in Mark Whitty. So, for the introduction, what is Marxist theory? Marxist is a social, political, and financial philosophy named after Karl Marx. It analyzed the impact of capitalism on worker efficiency and financial advancement, and contend for a worker transformation to offset capitalism in favor of communism. So basically, the ideology of Marxism was organized or known as a philosophy that explained about political, social, economic, and culture system. So, for example, to maximize benefits, business owners have a motivating force to urge the foremost work out of their laborers, whereas paying them the most reduced conceivable compensation. So this makes a difference about owners and the workers, because the workers have a small individual chance within the generation. Marx accepted that they would gotten to be distant from it, as well as from their process humankind, and turns against the business owners. So for the discussion, the term of injustice is not about the territory, but on the other hand, it's about the power, and power possessed and exercised by people of high position over ordinary people. So, in the first part of this poem, when the chilled dough of his flesh went in an oven, this line means that the workers have made a choices, but it have a dangerous risk to the action they take. The second one is not unlike those he fueled all his life. This line shows one of the problems of the workers, especially the social class system that make them suffer. The third one is, I thought of his character ablaze with heaven and radiant with the sight of his dead wife. So the first two lines of this poem can be described, the last two lines of the first part from this poem can be described as the obstacles faced by the workers, and the words heaven and radiant, the words that indicate justice, what workers are looking for. The next one is opinions. Opinions play a fundamental role in practically all aspects of human activity and have a significant impact on how people behave in a society. So for the second part of this poem, the first one is light streaming from his mouth to shape her name. So this line has a meaning related to workers, namely the arguments and opinions of workers to the social caste system on their condition for being mistreated. I thought how his cold tongue burst into flame in the second part. I interpret this line with the following meaning, namely disclosure of frustration, and the complaints that felt by the workers against the capitalist or social class system with their rules. The third one is freedom of expression. Freedom of expression specifically refers to the ability to speak, write, act, and believe as one wishes without causing harm to others or society as a whole. So, for the third part of this poem, the first one is this line: sorry for his sake, there is no heaven to reach. In this line, I mean it as workers who have little chance and possibility to change their destiny because of the system and the rules that made by the capitalists. The second one is I get it all from earth, my daily bread. This line describes the efforts made by the workers to achieve their desire by all means. And the third one, but he hungered for release from mortal speech that kept him down the thong that weighed like lead. The third part, these two lines have the following meaning, namely the working class which tries to be free from the suffering, but it cannot because the inability to have an opinion due to the social class system, because the social class system rules everything that made them more have an advantage than the workers. So the fourth one is discrimination. In mosaic income nation, discriminatory practices and regulation are defined by law as those that only apply to specific group or workers. So fourth part, the fourth part of this poem, the first one is the baker's man that no one will see rise. This line, it can be interpreted that no one will care about the fate of the workers. And the second one is an England made to feel like some tool of. This is related to the previous line and has a description of the existing class system found in the phrase tool of, indicates that the working class at that time was a minority, and as a minority they can do a lot about the system and the rules. The next one is smoke enough to sting one person's eyes? This line has the meaning that efforts made by the workers have failed to change the class system already exists and is controlled by the capitalists. And the fourth one is an ash, not unlike flour, for one small loaf. On the last line, I interpret this as an apology from the workers. From everything that they did does not win or make a change against the law or the class system. So for the conclusion, to sum up, the poem mostly talking about protest or disagreement against the social class system, especially towards the working class or workers. The working class was treated unfairly by the rules of their time. They experienced injustice to their lives, so they experience suffering. Also, freedom of expression is very limited considering that they are working class who cannot hope much to change the situation. And then the opinion of the workers is also not necessarily heard by the capitalists. And in addition, discrimination can also occur because basically they live in an era where all kind of rules are still not good and detrimental to them. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.